Alongside the fence that separates the Manchester Community Garden's backyard from the Factory Point Cemetery is a small garden that was started last year. This one is a little different from most. It doesn't consist of flowers or vegetables. Instead, it's what's known as a pollinator garden and consists of several plants intended to serve as habitats or rest spots for pollinators, like bees, butterflies, moths, or other insects. Bats and birds are also considered pollinators. The transfer of pollen in and between flowers of the same species leads to fertilization and successful seed and fruit production for plants. Pollination ensures that a plant will produce full-bodied fruit and a full set of viable seeds. That eventually translates into food, beverages, fibers, and even medicines that need to be pollinated in order to grow and produce. But pollinators are in trouble. They've suffered from a loss of habitat, chemical misuse, and invasive plant and animal species. To learn more about pollinators and the role they play was the topic of a presentation held Saturday, June 4th, at Manchester's Community Library, which featured speakers from the University of Vermont Extension Master Gardeners of Bennington County, beginning with Becky Manning.
You could just have 1 square foot, anything that you can do, that you could plant native plants to Vermont, because Mother Nature said, let's mix these together in ways that go together. Local native pollinators need to feed off of native plants. So their favorite home and food are things that grow here naturally. If you bring something from another country, it has the wrong color or the wrong shape or the wrong height or the seasonality is wrong, and therefore they don't do very well.
Bees are most commonly thought of as pollinators, and Jean Davis, the president of Bennington County's Beekeepers Club, brought her traveling hive to the talk. We had a chance to speak with her afterwards.
So there's this wonderful thing that happens, this relationship between pollinators and plants. And plants have evolved to encourage pollinators to visit them so that the plants could reproduce. And the pollinators gather their food from those sources. So if we lose our pollinators, then our plants are going to suffer as well. And if 1 of every 3 bites you take is the result of pollination, and we start to lose more and more of those pollinators, we're not going to have all the fruits and vegetables and nuts that we've had in the past. There are lots of kinds of pollinators. The thing that is special about honeybees is that they live in large communities. So the average beehive has 40 to 60,000 bees in it, and a large portion of that is a workforce that's outside pollinating. Bumblebees maybe live in a colony of 200, and hummingbirds, they live on their own, but they're also pollinators, and bats pollinate. But honeybees work as a team, and so they're very, very efficient pollinators.
After the discussions, several went over to help fine-tune the small pollinator garden, for which there are plans for a small expansion. Mia Clark explained a bit more about the garden.
You should have a group, so each little quadrant here has the same species. Some are New England asters, they're from lobelias, penstemon. I have a tag for each one. What do we have over here? Monarda echinea is a very popular one, which is this row here. This was laid out last fall with layers of cardboard, lots of compost, and different layers of hay, so that we could kill the grass underneath. And we need to do a similar thing in the front to extend it, because
Melissa Miola, who's also with the UVM Master Gardener program, told us more about native plants you can plant in your pollinator garden.
So UVM Extension Master Gardeners, we've been working really hard, I'd say, in the last 2 years to just get out the word about natives. I find a lot of people are very knowledgeable about exotic plants, and unfortunately our native pollinator plants and native trees and shrubs, they have a really bad PR problem. People just aren't familiar with them. You know, everyone knows what a lilac looks like, but, you know, do people know other native plants. You know, would they be able to say like a winterberry or something that is native to our area? Most people probably not. And it's not really what you see in a lot of gardens. So we've been really trying to, by putting out pollinator gardens like this one, familiarize people with the native pollinator plants. And I'm hoping next, sometime this summer, I'm gonna be doing a program here at the library about native alternatives to invasive species. So, you know, when people are thinking about what they want to plant in their garden, you know, don't, you know, maybe plant all the exotics. It's okay to have some daylilies, some hostas, but they're not natives. You know, what else can you put instead of that? So I'm hoping to do that this summer.
For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.